Hello everyone, it's Rob here. This is just a very quick intro to tell you that I'm going to be creating a video on how I draw the male head. So let's get straight into it. Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So we're going to get straight into this video. So this is actually the final image that I'll be creating that will come to at the end of this video here. So just if you are new to my channel, and I've talked before about, how to hold your pencil. Really, you want to hold your pencil in a way that is, very light. You want to hold it in such a way that if somebody was to flick the pencil out of your hand, that it would be very easy. Just a tap would do it, because you want to protect your wrists as an artist. It's extremely important. A lot of artists get wrist injuries, so make sure not to press too hard when drawing. So getting into a prerequisite exercise and good warm-up is to practice drawing the heads using the Loomist method, which I discussed in greater detail in a previous video, which I will link in the description. So basically with this exercise, you're drawing the sphere of the head, which is a ball. That in simplified look, it's a ball with the sides cut off. And then the most important point is the central point, which is the point between the two eyebrows. This point you need to establish on every single drawing of the head that you do, because it helps to guide you in drawing all of the other elements of the head, the features and the anatomy. And basically what you do is you draw a central line all the way down and then across, creating like an axis. And the head is basically made up of 3/3. The top third is from the brow, the central part of the brow, up to the top of the forehead where the hair begins. The middle section, the second third, is between the brow and the bottom of the nose, and the third section is between the bottom of the nose and the chin. This is the basic setup for the human head, and it is the same for men and women. But of course, drawing the male head, you have stronger bone structure, a much stronger jawline usually, often a wider face than a female's. And you really want to try practicing this basic ball head shape of the head, and with the central line as much as possible. And it's a really good exercise to get into before you tackle like a more detailed drawing, which I will be doing later on in this video. So when you're looking at the head from the side, it is a shape which appears to be cut off, like with a slice of the ball cut off, and the central line wraps all the way around the head in both directions, horizontally and vertically. And it's important to know the shape of the head is three-dimensional, and it also goes beyond the forehead and the central part. It's actually, the back of the head is actually quite large in comparison to the front of the head. So yeah, here I am drawing a few examples with the ball and central line. Here I'm filling out the jaw a bit more. So the ear section usually is parallel with the brow and the bottom of the nose, and falls just behind the central line, the crosshair on the side of the head, as you can see me drawing there. Now you can really have fun with this. It does take practice, quite a lot of work, but the more you do it, the better you'll get. And it's it's a great practice to do. Just try rotating the head, drawing a simple ball, central point and central line, and the axis and wrap around. So here I'm doing the same again, the same exercise, but I'm going to take it just a little bit further with some facial features put in. I can make a video later on, perhaps going over the planes of the head, the human head, because this will definitely help your ability to be able to draw a human head from imagination, like what I'm doing here. And just having the awareness of the structure will allow you to create a more realistic head drawing, and if you're to take it into painting, this is very important as well, because you need to know how light and shadow fall over and across the face, and this is all to do with the planes of the head. So the eyes fill in below the brow line. This is an important thing to remember. It's never actually on the central line, which is the brow line. The central point is always below. And usually with the eyes, you have, you know, about an equal, about an eye shape, an eye size in between the two eyes. Here I've actually drawn one of the eyes slightly wonky, so ignore that. And what I'm doing here is I'm just drawing parallel lines across from the third sections over, so I can draw a profile of the same head. As you can see there, I drew the lips on the side of the head with the central line and vertical line wrapping round for the ear placement. I then sketched in the features, but I actually did not follow the guidelines properly to begin with, so I had to actually make a correction with the nose and the mouth. But this is, you know, a simple exercise. You want them to match up. I mean, the lines here are freehand and they weren't completely straight to begin with. But if you're ever to draw the head straight on and from the side, the same head of any character you may be designing, you want them, all of the features, to be lining up from different points of view. Same with the body as well. So the hair I can get into in detail in another video too. It's another topic on itself. But I'm just showing you this basic simple exercise which just builds on the video that I made previously, which I will link. And now we get into the actual pencil drawing of how I draw the head. As you can see here, I made a couple of mistakes just with drawing my simple circle. So I'm drawing in my central line there. It's a profile view of the head, let's keep it simple. And I've gone in there already establishing the eye, which you don't need to so early on. I mean, it's important first. I've been doing this for a while, so it's important for you to be able to draw, you know, the central line of the head, and also on the side of the head as well, which I've just established there, that line there which connects with the jaw. But it's incomplete at this stage, so I could have done a better job at that myself. And here I'm just mapping in the ear on the side of the head, parts of the hair. The hair usually appears in, you know, large clumps and ribbon-like shapes. So here I'm realizing my initial error of not filling in that side measurement of the side of the head with the central line and the axis going all the way around, and I had to make a correction there. This is a simple profile head drawing that I'll be doing, so there won't be too much detail. I'll be doing a little bit of shading with a very simple technique of simply, you know, drawing in one direction. This is more of a contour drawing, more of a line art drawing, but there will be variations of light and shadow. Now at this point I am just mapping in the features and designing elements of the hair, making sure things are in place, that the head, the shape and the size of the head is correct for the man. You can see there the strong jawline. It would be quite different with a woman's jawline, probably slightly more curved. And with my shading here, I've begun doing a little bit of shading in some areas. I'm just drawing, I'm trying to imagine the head as a, a three-dimensional object, and I'm drawing in the direction where the features of the face curve round, like following the contour, the shape in each individual area. This just helps to make the drawing appear more three-dimensional, and I tend to draw each line in shade in one direction. This helps to build up consistency, and you can see here I keep changing my hand grip. This is the overhand grip, which was much more comfortable for me to do the larger strands of the hair and some of the elements around the figure. And then I'll switch back from time to time to the tripod grip for more detailed work. And I've realised that I made an error on the shape of the ear. It was way too thin. I've left it for now, but I will be coming back and editing that. The earlobe. The ear is a really interesting, part of the anatomy. It's a funny shape, sticks out of the ear, it curves in different directions. So that will be a topic in itself. I can create a video on how to draw the ear later on. Here I'm just filling in parts of shaded areas on the head and strengthening some of the lines to bring more attention in certain areas. In this instance, the front of the head and the face and the eye seems to have a very kind of pensive, possibly even angry expression, concentrated. Let me know in the comments what you think, how he looks. So what I really like to do as well is draw quite lightly within the drawing, and then as I progress, I like to create an outline, a slightly stronger outline around the figure and the head. This is just my personal preference, but I really like it. It helps to bring the drawing off the page and help it leap up from the sketchbook, and seems to give it more impact. So this is me going over the kneaded eraser, or kneaded eraser, I think it's kneaded eraser. You can actually shape it into a really very fine point, and this is the great thing about this eraser. I would say rubber, but it's an eraser. You can actually shape it to a very fine point, and you can touch over parts of the drawing that are hard to get to. Say for example, like I've got the guidelines that I initially put in the drawing, now I'm trying to get rid of them. So instead of erasing parts of the shade and line work that I've done, I was just dabbing the kneaded eraser over certain areas very lightly, and this is the great thing about it. Cleaning up the outside of the drawing as well as you work. Now for this demo, I tried to keep everything visible, so usually I would use a sheet of paper underneath my wrist if I'm going over areas which I've already drawn, especially areas of detail, because your wrist will actually smudge the drawing itself, and you don't really want this to happen, of course. It muddies up the drawing and it creates more work for you because you have to clean it up later on and correct. So it is good to use a sheet of clean paper underneath your wrist and hand if you go over areas that have already been drawn in. So this is the drawing, it's getting very close to being finished now. It's a simple demonstration. I'm just brushing up on details of the contour and certain lines. It's got a very unusual hairstyle. It's quite a thick quiff and fringe at the top. I have no idea how this person managed to pull it off. But I've also left, you know, parts of his hair as, you know, artistic kind of strokes, as this is not, you know, intended to be a completely realistic portrait drawing. We're having fun with this, and, you know, depending on your goals, what it is that you're doing the portrait drawing for, or the pencil drawing of the figure for, you can experiment with being more creative and illustrative, and, you know, you can bring in imaginary elements into your drawings and illustrations, creating story and intrigue. That's all up to you, of course. You can just do a realistic drawing of the head if you want. So here, this is the point where I corrected the ear. I made the lobe slightly thicker than what it was previously. I think this was quite important. And just finishing up a few strokes here and there, and this is pretty much done. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just a short one. I'll be going into, you know, more videos in the near future. I think I'll do a video on how I draw the female head next. And then I'll probably create a series of videos of how to draw each individual feature, the planes of the head, things like that. If you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll get to work on making those videos for you as soon as possible. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you like it. Please do like, share and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all next time.